Films that have resonated with me. I'm not going to pick my favourite films, but I'm going to pick films that have sort of stayed with me and have got a bit of meaning. The first one I will say is Quadrophenia, because I watched that, bought it on VHS when I was very young, much younger than 18, and they probably shouldn't have sold it me, but I was quite sort of heavily into the sort of mod thing and soul music, as I always have been and still am a little bit now. But it's kind of funny how the sort of morality of the characters in the film is a little bit sort of questionable, which I kind of like. And then a lot of people sort of miss the point of, like the strapline of the film is even a way of life, and people kind of live by that film. And in the end, the story that kind of Pete Townsend had in mind was quite negative, and the connotations of the lifestyle was very negative. And it's almost like I really enjoy the first half of the film when it's all good music and clothes and everyone's doing alright, and then it sort of twists halfway through when they all start fighting and sleeping on beaches in the nice suits and stuff, which is not the way to go. So yeah, that's one. And then second, sort of staying with the questionable morality of characters, which I really do like, and it's a big reason why I like gangster films. So I'm going to say Scarface. Again, it's not my favourite gangster film, but just because of how funny I find it that people have sort of taken Scarface as a bit of a manual for living, which is a very questionable thing to do. Some people see Tony Montana as a good businessman, when, no, again, halfway through it kind of goes a bit awry for him. And yeah, so that one. And then third, I'm going to go really kind of left field and filmic and say a French film called Le Grand Illusion from the 20s, which is about the First World War, and it's by Jean Renoir, who was Auguste Renoir, the painter's son. But it's about prisoner of war camps in the First World War, and all the different nations and languages and nationalities and sort of identities of people, and how they're all so different but essentially the same. And then there's a key line in the film towards the end, which I don't know the French for, but in English it roughly sort of translates as you can't see the borders of nations in the snow when they escape and go from either, I think it's France to Switzerland, but you can't see the physical border of countries, so nations, sovereignty and nationalism is a waste of time. So that's really sort of me. That's kind of impressed upon my views.
Okay, the first one is one called Barton Fink, which is filmed by the Coen brothers, which I like it because I remember watching it when I was really, really young, and it's just such a weird film. It's about this writer that locks himself in a hotel room to try and inspire himself, and he ends up getting a neighbour that's really bizarre, and it's got a really good sort of, I don't know, it's just very eerie and dark, but also it's got a nice message as well about writing, and it's just done really well. It's a really good film, good music. The second one would be Lost in Translation, which is quite a modernish one. I think it was about 2004 that came out, and that's wicked. It's got Scarlett Johansson in it, but as quite a cool character, and Bill Murray as well, who's the best. And the reason why I like that film so much is because the music in it's so good. It's got it's got Phoenix, My Bloody Valentine, Jesus and Mary Chain. It's just a really, really cool film, and it just documents the two people sort of interacting with each other, and it's just a nice sort of sentiment that it's got about people being alone somewhere, you know, being amongst a crowd but being alone, and lots of good music. And my third one, which took me ages to decide between, is probably going to have to be The Wall by Pink Floyd. Does that count? And that's technically an album, but like, one of the things with albums is like I normally like to have my own visuals and imagine my own little thing that's going on. Don't like to know what bands look like, but with The Wall, the visuals and the music go so well together. It's just the first thing you imagine in your head, and it's one of the things that's inspired me for years and years, because it's got animations, you know, puppeteering, live performance. It's just a wicked album, and the visuals go with it really, really well. And that's it.